Hello guys, this is PG Queen 2000 here, and I'm here with my video on why I believe the Nintendo Switch 2 could be a role reversal for Nintendo. Yeah, like a role reversal, like as in doing what no other Nintendo system successor did to its predecessor. Yeah. I'm gonna start off with the first one. Yeah. The NES to SNES, the original 8-bit Nintendo to the 16-bit Super Nintendo, Super NES, Super Famicom. Yeah, that. Of course, there was some competition with the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis, but Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. But yeah, that kind of hindered its ability to the SNES's ability to outsell the NES. The original. Yeah, but both fans owned both. Yeah, both people. Yeah, owned both. Yeah, and both systems had pretty solid libraries. Yes, that was a pretty good transition. Yeah, but then things started to go awry. Yeah, of course, PlayStation 1 versus Nintendo 64. I'll admit I'm personally on the PlayStation 1 camp, but yeah, rather than the Nintendo 64 as a Nintendo guy, but yes, I still love PlayStation, honestly. Yeah. And yeah, of course, the Nintendo 64, a revolution, with hits like Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, GoldenEye 007. Those were amazing games, yes. But then there was the big blunder of the Nintendo 64 using cartridges. Yeah. And I'll tell you, yes, it hindered its ability to have great third-party support like the PlayStation 1. And even somewhat the Sega Saturn, but that's only in Japan, yeah. And then we get to the GameCube, PS2, and original Xbox. Yes, the PlayStation 2. Yeah, it's the big deal maker. Yeah, Not only was it a no-brainer upgrade for those who own the PlayStation 1. Yeah. But it also acted as a cheap DVD player because it had DVD capability. And yeah, games came on both DVDs and CDs on the PlayStation 2. Yeah. Some games on the PS2 are CD-based games, and some of them are DVD-based. But yeah. And then the GameCube, oh yeah, it didn't even manage to outsell the Nintendo 64, even though it was an improvement greatly. It was an improvement. All right. And then that leads us to, the Nintendo and that leads us to, the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, the Wii, yes, Nintendo's big multi-million-dollar hit. Yeah, alongside the Nintendo DS. Yeah. Which became Nintendo's best-selling platform for a while. Yeah, of course, following the original Game Boy plus Game Boy Color. Yes, the original Game Boy plus Game Boy Color, massive success for Nintendo in the portable scene and established it. And then Nintendo came out with Game Boy Advance. Yes, it's definitely the best Game Boy, in my honest opinion. Game Boy Advance SP especially. That was my first love in portable gaming. Yeah, I will still say that. Yeah. But yeah, that. And then, the Wii. Anyway, back to the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, the Wii was a massive hit. Yes. It made all the money, even though it was a fluke. It was just a fad once people realized the PS3 and Xbox 360. Like, let me show you my PS3 over here. Yeah. I don't have an Xbox 360, though, so. Yeah. The PS3. I still play this, honestly. Yeah. I still play my PS3. I still play it. I do prefer it over the Wii nowadays. Yes, I'll admit I enjoyed the few great games the Nintendo Wii actually had. I still enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah. But even then, I'll admit I wouldn't be without PS3. Yeah, and Xbox 360. And I wouldn't be without my PlayStation either for PS1 and PS2. Yeah, alongside Nintendo's 64 and GameCube. Yeah. But the Wii, yeah, the motion controls, it had Wii Sports, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Timeless Hits. Those are the only few games I would ever go back to play the Wii for. Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. That's the only other reason why you would actually want to own a Wii 4. Other than that, yeah, it has not much else. I'm sorry. I would rather play the big boy systems, the PS3 and Xbox 360. But, yeah. But I'll be honest, PS2, yeah. And GameCube, yeah, I'll admit. The GameCube, yeah, I enjoyed the GameCube's games like Super Smash Bros. Melee, a bit of Super Mario Sunshine, and the Mario Sports games, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, yeah, and whatnot, yeah. But outside of that, I mean, yes, it did have Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Yeah, it's the most expensive game you can buy for the GameCube to get a working copy of that it doesn't have disc rot. Yeah. And it's still trapped on a system, yeah. And you have Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil Remake. Yeah, those were great games. And I'll have to give the GameCube credit for Resident Evil 4, which is the best game which is the best version on the GameCube at the time, yeah. The PlayStation 2 version, yes, might have had more content, but it didn't look as good or played as well as the GameCube version, the PS2 version. But other than that, yeah. But, yeah, and then we're going to get to the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS. Yeah, the Wii U obviously sold worse. I mean, yes, it had poor marketing. Yes, it could have been called Super Wii. I mean, yes. Or even Nintendo Split, yeah. And I'm not even joking, yeah. It should have been called Super Wii or Nintendo Split because of the Wii U gamepad thing, yeah. And now we're going to get to the big deal, yeah. The original Nintendo Switch, which I'll be honest with you, since it broke down on me, it's literally a lying corpse. Yeah, I'll show you it. Yeah, once I get it hooked up with my recently shell-swapped Joy-Cons, neon blue and neon red. Yeah, I actually had a shell swap recently. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just plug it in here. Yeah, this is my old Nintendo Switch. Yeah, that's almost dead. Yeah, it's a lying corpse. It doesn't work properly. Yeah, I'll show you proof of that. Yeah, I mean, this is their first 100. This is like the console that marked Nintendo's renaissance. It was a return to their glory days of the original 8-bit Nintendo and the NES days. Yes, I'll be honest with you. Yes, even though I wasn't there, nor was I there for the SNES, let alone Nintendo 64. I mean, I started with a PlayStation 1, though, as a Nintendo guy. I mean, even though I started with it as my first home console, by the way. And then before that I had the Game Boy Advance SP, so I've been playing Nintendo since the GBA and GameCube era, yeah. Even though I didn't exactly own a GameCube and a PS2 back in the early 2000s, I only owned them after the 2000s, after I got my Nintendo Wii, yeah. And I like those even more than the Wii, honestly, yeah. I'll still admit the PlayStation 2 is the best, but now this thing is going to get close to outselling the PS2. Yeah. And this thing, yes, was a revolution. Yeah. Playing handheld games on the go. But guess what? Now we're going to address the big elephant in the room. The Nintendo Switch 2, which I love even more than the old Switch. Yeah. And let me tell you, yes, it has. I mean, I feel, and this is where I want to talk about it, like, the Nintendo Switch 2, for someone who was an early adopter of the Switch 1, yeah, I'll give my full review in another video, but yeah, this thing has already been proven to be a hit, honestly. Yeah, the Wii, this thing, it's already way more successful than the Wii U. That's a good sign, yeah. It's even outsold the PlayStation Vita, yeah. And I'm not even joking, it has a good screen, 1080p screen. It has more powerful. It's more powerful. Plays almost every Switch 1 game that I have for my vast catalog. Yeah. But the thing is, yes, people are buying this thing in droves. The Nintendo Switch 2. It's definitely going to be. It might be the first time since PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 where a successor system outsells the original, its predecessor. Yeah, for Nintendo. Yeah. It might be the first time. Who knows? I could be right or wrong, but I believe that. Yeah, it's a must-have upgrade that runs. It's everything people wanted from the Switch 1, in the same way the SNES was to the original 8-bit Nintendo. It's that moment again. It's the same thing with Game Boy Advance too. Yeah, over the original Game Boy plus Game Boy Color. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2. It's that level of upgrade. To be honest, yeah, it really brings me back to those days when I had when I had my Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah, as my first ever Nintendo system. Yeah, growing up and being born 2000 and growing up in the 2000s. Yeah, it takes me exactly to those days. It's an upgrade. Yeah, it's giving me those same exact vibes here as a portable system. Yeah, it's giving me those exact same vibes. And even GameCube to Nintendo 64. Yeah, that would be more so in line, even though I never owned a Nintendo 64. As I previously said, I was a PS1 guy. Yeah. But yeah, I'll admit, it's more in line with that. It's all those transitions. And it's going to be even greater because it has the potential to outsell both the Switch 1 and PS2 when the Switch 1 reaches end of life as the best selling video game system alongside the PS2. Yeah. Reaches that level. And yeah. The Nintendo Switch 2. Yes. What can I say? Yeah. It's an improvement. Yes. And sales chart wise, yes, it's selling out constantly. And yes, and with the recent arrival of Pokemon Pokopia, I still see this thing being sold out. Yeah. And hell, it might even outsell GameCube and Nintendo 64 as well as Xbox Series X and Series S in a faster period of time than the Switch 1 did. I'm not even joking, yeah. And Xbox One and SNES. Sega Genesis, yes. / Mega Drive. And it might even outdo the NES within 2 or 3 years. And it might even reach the Wii, yeah. Within year 3, yeah. Based on how fast this thing is selling. It's like faster than the PS2 did in the 2000s. And it's even faster. Yeah, faster than the PlayStation 1. Yeah, most definitely, yes. And definitely way faster than the Wii, Nintendo DS, let's not say, yeah. Let's say, yes, the 3DS, and even the Switch 1, yeah. Of course, Wii U never achieved that level of momentum, yeah. But yeah, I really do, that's what I wanted to say, yeah. That I feel like Nintendo will, why I believe it should be, why the Switch 2 will outsell the Wii U. Oh, I mean, no, it already outsold the Wii U, yeah, already. But why it will achieve Nintendo's #1 selling status pretty fast. And it might even outsell the Switch 1 quickly. Yeah, do the impossible. Please let me... Yeah, that's all for this video. Please let me know of your thoughts in the comments. In the comments section.